to the YetiRadio.com.
It's alive!
The Yeti. The Yeti Radio. Powered by DavidLeeImaging.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the last day of May and the first edition of the interviews in the Yeti Radio studio, being referred to as the Backstage Lounge. And in tonight's Backstage Lounge, we have Redoubt in the studio, hanging out with us, having a good time. We're going to talk about their new EP that they've just recently released and find out what's been happening with them. And by their request, we're going to play some of their favorite local bands in our regular little intermission spots here during the interview. So we'll start it off with the first song, which is from the Maybe Next Years with Exit Strategy. I may need one of those right here on the Yeti Radio. That was the Maybe Next Years with their Exit Strategy right here on the Yeti Radio's Backstage Lounge. Now we have Redoubt. What's up, everybody?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man. Silly, crazy stuff. All sorts of wild happenings going on, and we talked about that already. That's not why we're here. So what's been going on?
I just had a new release.
Yeah, I saw that. So what? See, it just came out yesterday, day before.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday. Okay, and shoot, I forgot to count. How many songs is on it?
6.
6 songs. Okay, and what's it called?
It's called Like a Reaction.
Okay, well, there it is. Like a Reaction, and
We simultaneously did our last EP and this one on a CD. Our last EP was called Mongrel, so the CD is called Mongrel Reaction. It's clever and not quite so clever all at the same time.
right.
So I blanked on the title because I wasn't sure which one to say. This one is Like a Reaction.
Awesome. And you guys, how long were you guys working on that one?
Probably close to a year.
You think so?
I mean, between writing the songs and everything, but yeah, the recording, we kind of
Like 6,
take it
7
a
months.
little bit at a time, so because we have access to a studio, so at
You
our
gotta
house.
always love that.
Yeah, so we kind of just do it in our free time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and take our time with it. So it's a few months from beginning to end, for sure.
Yeah, we write a batch of songs, and then when I don't know how we really decide. It just kind of happens when we decide, okay, this is our batch, and then we set up the mics and just keep them set up and just record our practices with the cabinets isolated and stuff, and then whatever we think is a good drum take, then that's our beginning.
Awesome.
And it was just going to be 5 songs originally, but then we wrote a song in the midst of recording those 5 songs. We were like, hey, why don't we just throw this one on there as well?
Snuck it in
at the end.
That's awesome. So what have you guys been up to since last time you were here? Like, where all have you been playing? And
Wherever we could. Seems like within the last year, a bunch of new places that kind of popped up and started doing shows. So wherever we can kind of get in, we always like new stuff. Otherwise, like the Timeout Lounge is always our usual haunt, and whoever else will have us.
We've played the Tap Room 120 out in Gilbert a couple times now.
Okay.
So that place is really
Starting
got
to
a lot
pick
of
up.
potential. It's a really cool place. The people that own it are great. So I think they're really ramping up what they're doing there, which is kind of nice. It's a little far out, but it's a really cool place, and I think it's going to be a contender.
Yeah, they're getting momentum, and
yeah.
they treat the bands really well, and they
Yes.
actually respect what they're the bands that are coming in and what everyone is bringing to the table. So it's cool. We played a place called 4014 Pizza, which
Mesa.
was actually a pretty cool place, but they just announced that they're not doing shows anymore. So so that was short lived, but it was fun while it lasted.
that's funny because I know of one that's coming up in a
Yeah.
couple months.
I mean, I don't know if it's. Did they actually say they're not doing shows, or did
Yeah.
they just say they're doing karaoke more?
Well, the announcement said that Fridays are back to just karaoke,
Oh.
and those were their show days. So
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
who knows? We'll see what
Guess
happens.
we'll
with
have
I
to-
think that was
place,
one that could have really caught a lot of momentum too. But a lot of places don't give it long enough. They'll do it a couple times, and then if it's not an instant win, then it's just like, well, we'll just have a DJ or something.
Right. Well, unfortunately, sometimes it happens that way, but I believe Green Jello was supposed to be over there.
but- Yeah, I did see that flyer when we played there, so I don't know. I mean, they might be honoring the shows that were already set up. We don't really know. So
Oh,
it's possible.
Oh, no, absolutely. We've got to get something figured out.
Yeah, we played Mesa Music Fest last month again for the second time, so that
that's
was a
what
lot
I-
of fun.
It's warm as
Yes.
hell.
How was
Yeah,
that?
it was. We played in the middle of the afternoon this time, which we played on a great stage.
Yeah.
But it was a little toasty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Up
The
there.
monitors kept dying,
Yeah.
and they had equipment overheating. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I got to go over there and see a few bands one night, and I walked my ass off. And I'm just like, how can you have that many stages? I'm not knocking it because it's an opportunity for people to be seen and get out there, but so much all at once. You can't hit every one.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no.
If you're up there for a half-hour set and it's 5 or 6 bands, I might be able to get, or stages, I might be able to get a little bit of each one if I'm somebody interested in looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were quite a few bands that I wanted to catch that were either playing at the same time,
Yeah.
or playing at the same time that we were playing. So it's like, well, yeah, we only got to catch a couple of the ones that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
And this year, I feel like was even smaller than last year. Last year seemed a little bit bigger.
Yeah, the
this year
headliners weren't as big or notable, I don't think, this year than last year. But as a band, it's kind of nice because there is always a good amount of people watching us that wouldn't normally be at our shows or anything like that because they don't know who we are, but they're just walking by. Like, by the end of our set, we were like, wow, there's quite a few people here that were like, that's kind of cool, because normally might not have come to see us somewhere else where they don't know who we are or don't go to those clubs regularly or something like that. So as a band performing, that's kind of the nice part of it. But yeah, as a spectator, it's a little cumbersome because you're like, it's kind of all over the place.
Right. And I understand the concept of it because Old Mill Avenue or Pioneer Square or Bourbon Street, you're walking around and something catches your ear, that's the next place you go.
South by Southwest.
And it doesn't matter. There's all sorts of music being played. So I think we're missing that today. But the Mesa Music Festival is just huge in comparison to that idea. Mm-hmm. And a little spread out. You could probably do the same thing, but there's a couple different areas. If I hit a stupid lottery, I might make something happen. But I don't see that happening. So,
well, hey, keep playing.
Got to keep playing. Anything exciting happen other than monitors going down?
No. It went smoothly. They did a good job. Last year seemed
actually
like
had a sound guy this year.
Yeah. Last year had some hiccups at the beginning there, but pulled it off great. And this year went really well. It's kind of odd because I felt like all the promotion kind of waited till
last minute.
The 11th hour, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh yeah, we got this thing going on. So
it definitely still feels like they're still figuring out the best way to handle all of it. Like maybe in a few years it'll be more of a well-oiled machine, but it definitely still feels like we're still figuring this out every year, like what's going to work, what's not. So but I think it's a cool concept. I do think that they should do it a month earlier if I had my way.
Sure.
Just because in the evenings it's great to play because it's perfect temperature out in April, but the daytime slots were a little tough. So there's a couple of stages that were like in direct sunlight, so it's like that's kind of rough, so
yeah, when you have anything and it faces south, you're screwed.
Yeah. Exactly.
It needs to face north, but then the audience isn't going to be able to see, so yeah.
There was a point in our set about 20 minutes in that the sun just hit just right, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We were good for like 3/4 of the set, and then that sun just shifted just right, and it was right there.
Yeah, it was
a
little toasty up there, but we made it through. We did all right.
Well, let's talk about the EP. Let's go over some of the songs, the concept behind them, and what you how you came up with them, and Mr. Jimbo.
Hello.
Hi.
Pretty much all of our songs start with an idea that Jim has and brings to us.
Yeah.
Vocals and a guitar part, and then from there
Do you have any that
we all just workshop it, and Jeremy and I write our own parts for the most part, or we all collaborate on what would work. So
Right. Well, being the guitarist, and you do most of the leads on vocals?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Do you have any songs that you've brought vocals first? for the album, kind of riff and then a few vocal ideas.
Riff.
Always starts with the riff.
Okay.
Always starts with the riff.
So
Usually it starts with 2 riffs.
Right.
So if I have a riff I like, then I gotta find something else to go with it, and then make either one chorus, verse, and then from there I just start kind of scatting around a little bit, and something sounds right, and I'm like, oh, I like it, and then I'll build a song around that.
Okay.
me not knowing anything about guitar, if I do write something, there's usually a vocal melody I have in my head, and then then I just throw on a bunch of kind of sounds like this, and then you guys got to try to figure out what I'm saying.
He's got all these notes on his phone of him going na 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 na. What do you think of this, guys?
Can you visualize that?
Right.
You got the inspiration, right?
Let me dial the ears
It's an
in a little
Ava
bit.
effort for sure.
Well, no, because I've always been curious, and here and probably average everywhere, a riff is usually where it starts, but occasionally somebody will say that they've done a song where the lyrics were first, and I find it hard either way. In my mind, come up with a riff. Well, now I got to find words to fit that, or find the words and come up with something so it doesn't sound like another song.
Yeah.
Because you have your favorites and they're always stuck in your head, and all of a
sure.
sudden that starts sounding like one of those.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God. As far as the tempo and the way the songs come out.
Yeah.
Or the
We
words.
try to be real conscious about not repeating stuff, or if something does feel like another one of our songs, then we'll kind of feels more like this. What can we do to change it up so we're not staying in the same little pocket the entire time? I mean, some bands can pull it off and do an excellent job, like AC/DC, but we're
Right.
not AC/DC, so.
Right. Well, and there's a couple of bands that I like that have albums and start to finish sounds like the same song. It's all good.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It's not bad music, but
There's just
it's-
nothing standing out.
Yeah, it's all just kind of
Same formula over
yeah.
and over.
Seems like, and but then you get some that are just every song's totally different, and that's cool too. I think. Just from personal experience, that's the way I would want it to do it, but because that repeatedness gets
Yeah.
dull
It gets
over
boring.
time.
Like when you listen to an album and all the songs kind of sound the same. Because we just recently had a conversation. Like I found a new band and I was like, oh, I really like this band. Oh, I really like these songs. Like the first couple of songs on the album, and then like by the 4th or 5th song, I was like, now I'm bored because it's all the same
I
formula.
heard this song before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like kind of a bummer. So I think a lot of our songs sound different from each other. Like obviously some things are going to sound the same because we're the band that we are, but I do think there's a lot of differences in our songs that to our detriment, I guess. Maybe that's why people don't know what to do with us sometimes.
I think there's like a
They're like, we don't know what genre you are. We're like, we don't
sweet
either.
spot where a band wrote the same song 1,000 times, and then that's too boring. And then I think there's the other side of the spectrum where you could be all over the place so much that people might not be able to sort of grab on and
Like Mr. Bungle.
yeah.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes we can get like that too. Not like, I don't think it's super different, but I think for a lot of people that are sort of used to a band having one particular sound, that might be a little too all over the place. I mean, definitely our second release, The Inner Ear, I think had the most diverse songs on it, at least for me personally. And I like that, but I can see where probably some people will be like, it's too all over the board. And, so I think there's probably some songs that people really like from us, and then there's other songs that a lot of people really don't like. But yeah. Oh, they're playing that one. Let's go grab a beer. But it's I don't know. It's about keeping us satisfied with it.
Well, yes, because you're the one on stage that has to perform it every time you go on stage. So that's by far the first important note of it, because your fans are going to be your fans, and you're supposed to play you. You're not supposed to play them.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I notice with you guys, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I enjoy the challenge too of coming up with different stuff to play. Like doing stuff with either different tempo, or if we go from like clean to hard, I enjoy that, the challenge of creating stuff like that, where you kind of go on a little bit of a journey.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Rather than just the same thing
Right.
over and over.
I don't know if it's like this with just your average person that doesn't play music or anything like that, but I think a lot of musicians, a lot of musicians kind of pay attention to the body language of the band and how they're playing, whatever. I think that tells a lot more about the band than the actual stuff that they're playing. And a lot of times, if I can tell that a band isn't feeling it and is just more or less going through the motions, it could be a really good song, but it'll just still be sort of boring if I feel like the band doesn't even give a shit about playing this song. So I think that's why, at least to me, that's why it's important to keep it going. I mean, even just being a drummer, I consciously think about the beats that I'm playing. And if it's, am I playing the same exact beat that I'm playing in this song? How can I change up a little bit or give a little something that makes it a little interesting? If not for the listener, just for me, so I don't sit there and feel like, I'm just playing the same song again.
Well, I think that's something else that sets us a little bit apart too. Is even if I'm playing more of a straight riff, they're going to be doing something different that's going to keep it interesting rather than just being the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, being a three-piece.
Yeah, we got to try our best to maintain the dynamics and the interest in the song. Otherwise, it could sound a little too all the same. So we definitely try at least to find those little pockets.
We try, people. that should count for something.
Absolutely. Well, we are at that point, so before we get into the songs, we'll go ahead and do the quick intermission. And we will be hearing from a band called the Lilac Angel with Matte Black Batman right here on the... forgot the name of it myself. The Backstage Lounge right here at YetiRadio.com. get the right one unmuted. Back in the Backstage Lounge on the Yeti Radio, it's Redoubt and hanging out and talking about their new EP that came out yesterday. They are queued for the next New Music Madness show. I finally got that playlist renamed. They can't do it on Mondays anymore. I can do it on some Mondays, but instead of changing the name all the time, we just want one name.
Make it easy.
So yeah, definitely. So Jim, since you are the maestro of the band, Double Jointed.
Yes.
What's how'd that come about?
Started with a riff, and then I got the riff, and then when I was just playing the chorus, the word double jointed, broken hearted came out. So I liked that, so I just kind of built a song around that.
Okay.
About circus freaks.
I think in both verses, I think there's like 6 lines, and like maybe like 2 or 3 of them will actually have a meaning, and the other ones were just kind of ones that like I read in a book or something like that I thought sounded kind of cool.
Okay.
So there's not really a whole lot of meaning behind it.
Okay. Well,
Let the listener decipher it.
Yeah.
More like a puzzle instead of just being so on the nose and say like, this is about a girlfriend. It's not really our style.
Yeah, no.
That was my singing.
That was good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something.
Trying to find something interesting about us.
Well, no. Something in comparison of
Look,
Double
I
Jointed.
mean, writing lyrics is not my forte, so I'm constantly impressed with the stuff that Jim comes up with, because I'm always just like, how did you even think about that?
So the verses in that is kind of about like with some of the like actors in that, like there was a baseball announcer who they were trying to get fired because like he said something. I forgot the guy's name, but he made the Chester Molester reference.
Yeah.
So like they're trying. So the song is just kind of about like that happening, like trying to. I guess you can use the word cancel people, or like when social media attacks people for stuff that they did 8-10 years ago. So just some of it's about that.
I was thinking about that the other day too. Like, I think the people that get canceled, I think if you're sticking around long enough, you're eventually going to have something in your past that you said that's going to catch up with you, because time just changes.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the person was like, let's say they said something back then and now it doesn't fly. It's like, well, if it really didn't fly, they would have been nailed for it back then. It's not like getting mad or canceling somebody, what we call canceling, is a brand new thing. It's just sort of the way that we go about it. And I think if you like I think a lot of it has a shelf life, and if you're just a flash in the pan and you're around 5-6 years or something like that, you might be okay for whatever you said 10 years ago, because that was in style. But if you're sticking around for 20-30 years and this is the way we handle things, it's something that you said came back at you. You could be the most PC, keeping everything in line, and just trends of the time, whatever you said 10 years ago, which was totally normal, is now retroactively being hit upon that. Like, of course, and everyone that is so proactive in being the cancelers at some point are going to be on the other end of that. And
So that's what Double Jointed is about.
Yes. Really went on a tangent there.
That was a little tangent for you.
I don't think I was that deep into it when I was writing it. But.
That's what makes me feel.
I was going to say, that is not how I interpreted the lyrics, but hey, we each have our own journey when we listen to these songs.
I think my son came up with, I forgot what it was, something with the double jointed, though, of being it more of like somebody's life in that.
Yeah.
Gave me credit, right?
I was gonna say I don't think I saw that credit.
Jeremy's gonna make me go out and buy another amp and put more mics on the couch.
Sorry. I'll either shout up or speak louder.
Or somebody throw a mic at him.
I know we keep forgetting.
No, it's all good. I was just poking fun.
Last one wasn't worth hearing, so.
Yeah, it's probably better off that way for
There he goes again.
Oh boy!
Well, no.
If you feel a kick on your shin, that means wrap it up. Just so you know.
Well, it was funny because last night was my inaugural show for the Music Realm, which is music outside of Arizona. And one of the bands, and kind of poked at it a little bit because of the band name, the album title, and the song title. To me, it tells a weird story because
They are now.
the band is Crippled Fingers.
Okay.
The album is Through the Pain, and the song was Stitches. So I was like, well, that sounds like a weird story. So, and being double jointed, that's another one that we can go with, having a story for. So.
What if he was just like, well, I could do this with my elbow? Okay.
Then it would have a literal story.
It's
All right. Goodbye is next.
You got the sigh that I get when I have an idea for a song.
The main riff was played a lot different, and him and I were just repeating it over and over and over again because she was trying to play bass line to it, and I got tired playing because it was just a lot of palm muting. So then I just started playing it open. So then like the riff changed there. So then, but that's how it started, and then it's another one where I had a chorus that I liked. And then the line, what is it? You take it all away.
Yeah.
Like that just,
That sounds right.
yeah, that just came to me when I was just goofing around. So then I built it all around that.
So
There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot.
There's just
to
a
it.
bunch of accidental songs.
I just like to find unique stuff.
Okay.
Like when I come up with lines in that.
So like each song probably doesn't have a specific theme or story behind it,
Yeah.
but like I guess a good question would be, where do you mostly draw your lyrical influences? Like, is it just like from books and stuff like that, or?
No, I don't. So what was that song? Oh boy, now I gotta try to remember. Waited. So the song Waited, when I originally had it, I had the instead of And She's Waited, I think it was And I Waited. So it was almost more of like a love song, and I started going in that direction. But I'm like, but we don't really do that.
Yeah, that's not our forte for
So
sure.
then I got to try to make it almost as, so I think I came up with the story of a woman who's maybe not in that good of a relationship and her struggle of staying in or leaving. So that's what I kind of came up with when I was done with it.
Waited for the opportunity to.
Yeah, and I guess the pre-chorus would be the boyfriend or husband or whatever that's not very good. Like where she's seeing through all of his lies and all that. Or whatever.
Okay.
So.
Well, what about discontent?
His feelings
I-
with the band.
No. I had the line. I was working on the chorus, and I had the line, and I'll lay my head down on you. So then that was another one of where do I go with it. So then we're not really a love band. So then I had to try to come up with something. So then I had discontent. I think I heard the word somewhere or read it. So I was like, well, I'll use that word. So then I kind of wanted to make it. I guess if you listen to the verses, it's almost. Let me see if I can come up with something here. I'm not gonna say like an addiction, but whether it's like how, like I guess I would look at it like if like how a woman might see herself, like as far as like judging how she looks and stuff like that. So it's kind of a little bit like that, where it's almost like she feels rejected from her family or from whoever.
Okay. That's cool. That's deep.
Right?
And nothing? Nothing is nothing.
Nothing is nothing. It's just another one where like I just kind of have, I think that one, it was the pre-chorus or something. Or no, it was the chorus that I had. And I had that and I liked the lines in that. So then I had to kind of build the song around that. Almost as if you're in a relationship where somebody wants, you know, they're looking for more out of the relationship than what you are looking out of it. I guess kind of like that.
Okay. Something's wanting more than what you're willing to put into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Very cool.
Go with that.
We'd love to help you.
It is, though.
We'd love to help you with this, Jim, but we can't.
It's all in your head.
So it can be like that, and that's another one where, like, if there's 4 lines in the verse, maybe 1 or 2 lines might actually be like my real feelings on, like, that subject, and then the other ones will just kind of be a play on words from those.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't really talk a lot about the lyrics either.
No.
They just sort of come in and I know for me, like I like to decipher them on my own. Like what he's describing, I have totally different ideas of what that song might be about or something. And I don't know. I feel like we kind of intentionally keep it that way. Like I don't ask any questions unless it's like a lyric that I'm like,
what are you saying?
Right, yeah, it might be like, I don't think he's saying what I think he's saying, but I just want to make sure.
Like something controversial.
Right.
Like there's really only like a couple of songs that we have like where I do have a specific theme, not like about a book or something, but like where I really went and
Wrote a song around an idea.
Yeah, that I had, like something going on in my life and that. So, but I'll still keep it cryptic with what I'm still going to have lines that don't really have much meaning to it.
A lot of them aren't autobiographical.
Yeah.
They know what you meant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Autobiographical.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Look at the big brain on chair.
And I mean, for me, I think some of that too could be like with Nirvana and that, where I liked how he would keep stuff kind of cryptic, where you don't know if it really means anything or not, or you can have your own interpretation.
And I think we all like that style lyrically, so that works for all of us because, when things are too on the nose sometimes, it's like, all right, that's pretty predictable.
Yeah. I think when it is more left open too, I think it's easier for a listener to relate to it and make it their own. Because I feel like with most songs that are like that, I'll read something a completely different way than what the artist might have intended if I hear like in an interview or something, here's what they did. But like if it's left open, I feel like there's a lot more opportunity for a listener to connect with that, and feel like, oh yeah, I'm going through this, because I'm sure like they probably think it's about something, and that might suck sometimes to then hear like, oh no, this song was about my dog, and then you're just like, wow, I put way more stock in this song that makes me tear up and just gives me the feels every time I hear it, and then you find out like, oh yeah, I just wrote that on the back of a napkin. I don't know, it was a throwaway song.
And I think sometimes too, like as we're learning the songs and I'm playing them more and get more comfortable with it, like I start bringing like like where you can almost take on the story. It's like if something like with Disconnect, like we're, you're supposed to be a little bit more angry during the chorus. So it's like you almost start feeling the story in that. I kind of build a story as I learn the song in that.
With you guys, when he comes in with, the meat, and then you guys have to play off of that, is it better for you to have a better understanding of where the lyrics are going for your play?
Not for me at all. not the actual lyrical meaning. That, you know, the way he's singing the lyrics with the song obviously plays a part in the musicality of the song. So you have to make sure what the part that I'm playing or whatever doesn't step on the lyrical flow, if you will. But other than that, the meaning of the lyrics, not at all.
Yeah, usually when a song comes in, I mean, Jim's very flexible too. It's not like he comes in and says, "Here's how the song's gonna go."
Right.
I mean, probably to more his discontent. That's more of our writing relationship. Is he brings something in and has an idea of, yeah, here's how this should go, and I've been playing it, and then it's a lot of, oh, how about if we do this here, or we cut that back, or whatever. Like I would say that's more my part in the songwriting process. Is more of the sort of the deconstruction and reconstruction to keep it a little bit more interesting, or kind of, oh, that might sound more like the song or something like that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, like on our last EP, Mongrel, the song Inside, like the chorus, I had that being in my head like more halftime. And then I think you played it like that a little bit, and then he had the idea to keep it more sped up. So it's like it sounded a lot better as soon as we started playing it. So it's like, all right, let's do it.
Ruined it.
No, that happens.
I
That's part of
argue
it.
too much over that stuff. You know
No,
what
no.
I mean? Like
I'm not trying to push it into.
no,
No,
it's not
no.
going.
It's.
No.
I'm just trying to. They're adding to you
Yep.
how they read it, and
Yeah.
if that has any draw on their perception on what they're doing, either with the sticks or with the bass.
Well, yeah, sure. So I mean, like, having the lyrics kind of worked out does help, because it helps her to know where to go in and out, or even, like if he's not going to just play a straight beat, if he's going to do something a little, offbeat in that, then we got to make sure everything kind of can still flow. Because there's times where I have to adjust, lyrics and lines to make it fit to how, like, the beat's going to go more like this. So then I start playing the riff a little bit differently. So now I got to kind of reteach myself the lines, right?
Groom it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Aside from the basic idea that Jim comes in with, like, we don't have really a set formula for how we write the songs. Each one is different, and yeah, we've all sort of made changes in concessions in the writing process to make this part of the song work or whatever. We very much try to think about the song and ourselves as like one machine kind of pushing forward, instead of three different people, three different instruments trying to edge out the other one for the spotlight. Like we try to be very conscious about playing to the song and not ourselves or our ego.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Jeremy and I have been playing together for so long that
Yeah.
it's like we kind of, like we can just play. I can just, play a riff, and he can start playing, and we know without looking, like, kind of when we're going to change. Okay, now let's go here. So I think that helps a lot.
We know what we like,
Yeah.
and what we're gonna go for it. So yeah, if he starts playing a riff, I pretty much know what beat he wants for this, and then we'll do that, and then
And if he's got a strong feeling, like, as far as like, well, I think the tempo should be this or whatever, then you try it and see how it works. So, because you never know it's going to work until you try it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I rarely express my strong
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
being like basically essentially being the rhythm section, the content of the lyrics matters very little to the songwriting process. It's just like, how does it sound? How is he singing the lyrics along with what he's playing? So I don't think we've ever thought about what he's actually saying or the story he's telling at all. And when it comes to writing our parts for the songs, it's just about how does it sound with what he's already brought to the table.
Okay.
Every now and then there might be like a word or a phrase that might sound clunky to me or something, then why don't we try,
But again, that's
usually
the,
during recording,
and that's the
yeah.
flow of how he's saying it per se. It's not the actual content of the lyrics or anything like that. We pretty much trust that, Jim's writing lyrics that aren't going to get us in trouble.
Yeah.
And there's been so many times when we've like been playing a song forever, and then like we recorded or something, and I'm like, oh, that's what he was saying. That's pretty cool. I like that. And it's like I've played this song, 50 times. And I never even knew that's the line you were saying. Like I know the melody, the vocal melody, but then I'm like, oh, that's what he's saying. Oh, that's cool.
That is awesome. And now, let's see. The last one is Deceived.
Yeah. I think that one's a little bit more self-explanatory. I mean, it's just kind of being deceived and duped, Whether it's religion, government, or whatever, it's just kind of about... That's really what it's
the
about.
deceived culture that we're in nowadays.
Sure.
We can run with that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, I wasn't doing anything specific. It was just kind of, that's what I just kind of came with.
Yeah.
I think I had the line, those twisted sounds, I had that during the pre-chorus. So that's what I had, and then I just kind of built it around there, and then I had to believe and deceived when I was kind of just mumbling jumbling stuff.
So where is 10 Spot recording?
That is at our practice space. That's pretty much my home studio.
Okay, awesome.
Going back to our
it's their house.
It's at our house, which is
kind of
right down the block from Jim's house. So he just walks over and we record.
He's like 5 or 6 houses away. So
7
houses. Okay, even more. Jeez, sorry. So kind of going back to like our writing and recording process, like he walks over, we do our thing, we practice once a week for a couple hours and send each other recordings throughout the week. And then when we have our batch of songs, we set up the mics in the same room that we practice in. We isolate the guitar cabinets in the other room, and then we just record our practices. And then when it seems like it's a good drum take, we keep it, and then just start doing our overdubs and stuff.
Okay.
And Jeremy is actually a very good recording engineer.
I am an engineer, yes. I'm not just the guy that bought a copy of Pro Tools.
It's not just our recording studio. It's also his other gig of he records other bands there and stuff too.
He also mixes.
If anybody's interested, 10 Spot Recording on Instagram.
Big
hit
shout
him
out
up.
for 10 Spot Recording then. So who else have you done any recording for, if you don't mind me asking?
I've only, since moving here, we moved here about 6 years ago, and since moving here, I've recorded 3 bands.
Okay.
The Posters. 4 bands. Amazing Exploding, but I was in that band, so it's sort of a given.
Right.
Hostile Fate. And
nice.
What else did I record? Us, yeah. God, I'm leaving someone out. A couple solo artists.
Okay.
But when we lived in Chicago and Portland, I recorded quite a few bands. So I don't know if it's just my recording style is different than here, or if it's just sort of the time. Since the past 6 to 10 years now. Everybody owns an interface and a recording program, so I think more people are just kind of doing it on their own too. That's
Right.
what I'm going to say is why I don't have a lot of people.
Plus, you're
Right.
at Goodyear, which is the other side of the world
Yeah,
from
that's what
everyone
I'm going
else.
with.
It's at least 35.
Come on, you're only right around the corner from me.
Right. So if you need to record anything, you let them know. Everybody else acts like it's the other side of the world.
Oh, they do.
Make the pilgrimage to the west side.
I was the second band that I interviewed doing all this. That was the first thing. Do you know how far this is? I'm like,
From where?
Sorry.
It's kind of a blessing and a curse that we've become so lazy that anything further than 10 minutes is considered the other side of the world.
Right. Well, it's like the Brit that's on TikTok that's doing all the what the Europeans and everybody says about Americans, and he's here to experiment and see why. The fact that we're not well traveled. Yeah, we are. Our country's bigger than yours. And the fact that we measure travel in time, not miles.
Yeah.
And it just he actually recently came to Arizona, and he's like, yeah, screw this. This place is too hot. So
Yeah, when we lived in Chicago, I don't know if just the way that the urban sprawl is maybe is different, but it was nothing to drive 45 minutes to go see a show or to go do whatever. Like that was just how it was, because it was so vast.
The end.
the end.
Vast.
Well, what do you got coming up in anytime in the near future?
We have
a
a show in July.
Yeah,
in
we're
July
going
we're playing Tucson.
Going down to Tucson. We haven't been there in like a year, over a year.
July 27th.
Where at?
House of Bards.
House of
It
Bars.
wasn't a year because we played there when it was cold.
Like a year and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it that long?
It was February. We played there back-to-back Februarys.
We don't get
That's
invited much.
I like that place. It was cold, but it was fun.
But the drive,
Yeah, the drive.
especially when you get done with the show and
Yeah.
you got to come back up here.
That's the rough part. Is
Oh.
going home.
So when we have to
He
go
loves
real
it.
far, he doesn't mind driving.
Yeah,
I'm usually the driver.
the road warrior.
Well, we went down to the Rock for a show, and my 7-year-old, she was on my back for the show, and then we get in the car and it's time to drive all the way back up here, and I'm just like, oh man, that was rough, because it was I think I got home at about 2:30,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
When they hit
oh,
after
that was rough.
loading in, playing, loading out, and then
Yeah, we wore
once
out.
you get settled in, it's not too bad. Podcasts and music.
Well, congratulations on the new EP.
Thank you.
It's on all
Pretty
streaming.
proud of it.
Oh yes, on all streaming platforms.
Correct.
Okay, so check it out wherever you listen. It's Redoubt, and the new EP again is called
Like a reaction.
Like a Reaction, like that. Well, thank you guys again for including me and wanting to come hang out. It's
Thank you
been
for having
awesome
us. Thank you.
again, as always. Not to mention, you guys don't have to drive all the way across the valley to get here. That-
5 minutes.
That's really cool. Oh, let's see. All right. The last band that you sent me to play, I don't know how to pronounce.
It's JJCNV.
Okay.
You just say those.
Just say the letters?
Yeah.
All right. Closing out tonight at the Backstage Lounge on the Yeti Radio, it's JJCNV with Linda right here on the
Such
Yeti
a good
Radio.
one.
Linda, tell me what's your sign.
It's Redoubt at the Backstage Lounge with the Yeti Radio. Again, thanks everybody for coming, and best of luck
Thank
with
you.
the new EP.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, anytime, all the time.
Thank you, Yeti.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
I'm trying to remember, where was it I did get to see you play? Because I know I saw you.
Rebel.
Wow, Rebel.
Oh yeah, the Rebel.
I couldn't remember where it was, and I'm like, damn it. But thanks for joining us, and again, check out their new EP all over the streaming platforms. Check
Like
them
a
out. It's
reaction.
Redoubt, like a reaction. Have a wonderful evening.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti. The Yeti Radio. Powered by